Welcome to Parentville, where we share our stories as parents and children to help build strong families and communities. My name is Uma, and I'm the host of Parentville. My guests today are my friends Rajeshwari and Madhukar, who are a pediatrician and a sleep specialist. We talk about the sleep needs of children and the importance of helping children maintain a healthy sleep cycle. And I'm so excited to learn all the tips and tricks of sleep hygiene from the experts, a sleep specialist and a pediatrician. Rajeshwari, as we talked the other day, sleep is one of the pillars of good health, along with diet and exercise. And, unfortunately, sleep can be challenging for a lot of us for various reasons. Madhukar, I wanted to ask you, is 8 hours that magic number true? Is it truly such a magic number that we're all supposed to get about 8 hours of sleep? And maybe if you can give us a little rundown of changing sleep needs for children as they grow. How much sleep are we actually supposed to get?
Right. So, first of all, thank you very much for asking us to speak on this important topic. When it comes to adults, yes, 8.5 hours is optimal. However, with children, it's completely different. If you look at newborns, they pretty much sleep close to 18 to 20 hours, and then from 3 months onwards, their sleep cycle starts to get a little better. Uh, but when you look at growing children, their sleep requirement is anywhere upwards of 9 to 10 hours. Even teenagers, they are now recommending they do need at least 9 to 10 hours of sleep, although it is difficult with their academic workload and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So 8 hours is good when we are talking about adults. And people have done a lot of research on this. So and there is a lot of emphasis to avoid sleep deprivation.
Yes.
So we tell all our adult patients, since I see mostly adults, we have to not go below 6.5 hours during the work week, and not to try to play catch up during weekends. So we tell that to all our patients to make sure you stay between 7 to 8 hours. And then again, there is also a lot of research to say that in adults, sleeping more than 8.5 or 9 hours is not beneficial.
And why is that? Like, what are the negative effects of sleeping more than 8.5, 9 hours?
Well, if we are talking about adults, excessive time in bed has been shown to be associated with, various medical problems, increased risk of stroke, increased risk of impaired glucose tolerance,
Obesity.
yeah, and mood disorders. In fact, one of the ways, as a psychiatrist, you can allude to this. One of the ways we diagnose or tell a patient if their depression is better is if they are sleeping the optimum amount. One of the signs of untreated depression or recurrent depression is excessive time in bed.
Mm-hmm. 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 And I think that would go with children and teenagers as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
even in children and teenagers, sleep plays a very important role in mood disorders. So I always emphasize.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, did you say not to play catch up on weekends?
Yes, particularly
Can
if
you
we are
clarify that?
focusing.
I would think people would say, oh, you should at least catch up on weekends. So tell me why you said not to catch up on weekends.
It has not been shown to be beneficial, and one of the guidelines both by the Pediatric AAP Society and our AASM is that sleeping more than 1 hour extra on weekends is not a good idea because, as you know, there is a condition more common in teenagers. It's called delayed sleep phase syndrome. And what happens with that is the child or the teenager stays up until 12, 1 o'clock, either because of schoolwork or video games or something. And then they cannot wake up in the morning to go to school because most of the high schools, they start at 7 in the morning. And by allowing ourselves to sleep in, which even adults do, just to wake up late and feel like we caught up with the week's deficit, we actually put ourselves into delayed sleep phase. So basically, you are postponing your sleep onset by Sunday night, and then Monday morning, that individual is not prepared to get ready and go to work because you have pushed your sleep clock or the circadian clock 3 hours back by staying up till waking up around 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, because of which you created a delayed sleep phase in your circadian rhythm.
So it kind of becomes a negative vicious cycle, or a vicious cycle in the wrong direction. Tell me about your bedtime routines and sleep routines in your household, especially, when the children were home.
Right. So when the children were home, I think we used to kind of divide, and I used to focus on Srinil, and Raji used to work with Riti to, help them. When they were really little, she used to help her with her bath and story time, and I would do the same with Neil because they're 18 months apart, but they grew up like twins.
Yeah.
And basically, the children get used to the parental involvement, what we call as sleep onset association. So they associate the parent being in the bedroom or parent reading a story or then leaving a audio. In those days we had those audio cassettes, so we would play a Disney story or Disney songs, and until the tape is over they would not fall asleep. But yeah, we would incorporate those routines and do what is called gradual bedtime fading. Again, this is when you're training a toddler to fall asleep on their own. You do that, 3 nights in a row, you stay in the bedroom, and then 3 nights in a row, you stay at the doorway. And then they say 3 nights in a row, you tell the child, okay, I'll be right here in the landing. And then slowly, and in order to do all this, there is something called positive reinforcement, very effective in children, as you know, being a child psychiatrist. So we used to put stickers, for maintaining their routines. And then during the work week, of course, we used to wake them up around 6:40 or so to be at school on time.
Thanks to Madhukar for pointing out the harmful effects of erratic sleep patterns and busting the myth of catching up on sleep and messing with the circadian clock, which is synchronized with the solar time. The term circadian derives from the Latin words circa, meaning about, and dies, meaning a day. It truly is all about maintaining the rhythm of the day and living in harmony with the signals of daylight and darkness from the natural environment. Circadian rhythms also influence other important functions in our bodies, like hormone release, eating habits and digestion, body temperature, etc. Not harmonizing our sleep with the circadian clock throws the delicate balance of all these functions out of whack. Clearly, our ancestors would have had an easier time following the natural clues when that is all they had. However, in the modern world, it can be challenging to harmonize our daily activities with the natural daylight and darkness cycles. Of course, we can be a little lax on weekends, but as Madhukar pointed out, trying to stay within an hour of the natural cycles is better for our bodies and our health. In the next episode, we talk about sleep hygiene, routines and practices that promote good sleep. Don't forget to join us. Please feel free to leave your comments below. If you like this video, please click like, subscribe, and share. If you're similarly interested in sharing your experiences on Parentville, email us at ourparentville@gmail.com.